Last week in 2021, Will. Wow. And it can't come soon enough, especially for Broncos fans, especially for half the NFL fans whose teams won't make the playoffs. We're going to pick every game for Week 17, which is not the last week of the season anymore. We got one more dumb week after this, then playoffs. A lot to discuss today. Drew Lock's going to start. John Madden passed away. We'll give some New Year's resolutions for the Broncos. All of that after I say a couple important things. First, this episode is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Use code DNVR when you sign up over at DraftKings. Do it. Especially if you want to bet on sports. If you don't, then I don't know why you'd sign up at DraftKings. But the option's there. Or if you want to support this channel, support me, supporting Will, benchwarmerbrew.com. That's my coffee. Really fine bean coffee. Ethically sourced, carbon neutral, specialty grade. Not like coffee's got to pass some bars, some milestones to be considered specialty grade. Highest grade of coffee bean possible. And the cheapest way to get Benchwarmer Brew is through the subscription service. You save 25% by ordering and subscribing. You can have coffee delivered as much as you want, as little as you want. That's the cheapest way to do it. I'm Brandon Perna, my co-host Will Keys. This is a football podcast. Will. Hi.
Hey. How's it going?
You might notice Will in a different location today. This is his new location, his new studio, his new desk. Assuming this place does not catch on fire, he can stay there as long as he wants.
Yeah, fingers crossed on that one.
Yeah,
it's great to be out of my parents' house. I love them both, but it was time. It's been time for several months now, and I have a new office from which to work, from which to do this show, from which to do our Patreon Zoom tomorrow. Please check that out.
Hell yeah.
I think I said this yesterday, but this is going to usher in a new era of prosperity for That's Good Sports, and I can't wait for 2022. It's going to be our best year yet.
Best year to date, unless, of course, the channel keeps growing at a snail's pace like it currently is doing. Then it will be the same as this year, probably. But good
things. We're gonna have good things.
Yeah, I saw a photo of your desk on Instagram, Will, and prior to the desk arriving, you said assembly time estimate was 8 hours.
Correct.
And the first thing I noticed was that it's nearly identical to my desk. It's got like the metal frame layout, the fake wood that you got a hand screw in.
This is fake?
No, it's real. It's real.
I guess it is.
My question.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to assemble?
More than 8 hours.
Really?
Let's just say that. Yeah. Oh, I'm not like there were a lot of pieces. You might say that it looks like your desk. I'm just going to go out there and say that the assembly time was probably twice as much as your desk. I don't know. I don't know very much about your desk. I've only seen it a few times. But this was complicated. This was difficult. It didn't help that I put a few things on backwards and had to take them off and reverse them.
Oh, yeah. That's the worst.
But all that labor was worth it. All that labor was worth it. I can say that easily.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this one took me about 3 straight hours to put together. And I know I could have done it faster had I had a drill available. But
I did have a drill too.
I hand did every single one of the things because they're all like maybe I didn't. Maybe I did have a drill, but that's all the Allen wrench shit. I just remember
hate those.
Afterwards, I was like, that took me 3.5 hours. My hand hurt from all of the tightening. And I was like, never again. Never again. So I sympathize with you because I've been there.
Thank you. Yeah, that Allen Ranch really sucks. It's that same feeling after, like, you take a test in high school on the blue book and you got that pencil and you're writing in a small little notebook for 2.5 hours and your hand just kind of cramps up. It's the same feeling as that. Yeah, it's that's how I assume Pat Shurmur does his game plans, just by hand.
You're like, Pat, you've got 7 sheets to work with here. And he's like, no, I'm going to fit it all on this one note card. I just need this one note card to call all my plays on Sunday.
Yeah, you get one note card. And then he shows up to the coordinator booth and he forgot his glasses.
Yeah. I can't read it, guys.
Yeah. Whoops. Let's put Cortland Sutton at tight end. How about that? I saw Tim Jenkins puts a lot of nice little breakdowns on Twitter. That he does.
And I saw one where there was a play where Drew Lock missed Albert O. Well, he overthrew him. And during the game, you saw Lock like doing this after the play. I was like, oh, Albert O must have messed up there. That's kind of like the extent of my knowledge goes. But Jenkins broke it down where he pointed out how Albert O didn't run the route exactly right, and how the Broncos coaching the receiver on the right wideout position, not coaching the correct route for him to run in this situation to draw the safety away from Albert O, and why that play was doomed for failure basically before it even started. So I just thought it was interesting. And then another little wrinkle in, the offense actually not being coached well enough. And Drew Lock's going to start again this week because, Teddy's still in the concussion protocol. And that makes sense because it's a bad concussion. It's a second concussion. And even though the game was horrible, the offense didn't do anything. I didn't think Drew Lock did anything where even if Teddy was healthy, where you shouldn't start Drew Lock again. He wasn't worse than Teddy, wasn't necessarily better than him, but even if Teddy was healthy this week, I think the right move is to give Lock another chance to start there because, if anything, it's for a viewer, it's just a little bit different. And last week was hard to watch, but I don't blame Lock for it necessarily.
Yeah, no, it is one of those seasons where, yeah, Teddy is not the number one reason why we're 7-8, but it feels like, God, in a 17-game season, so at some point you need to make change for the sake of change, just to make these games watchable, just to get us to come back and have something to get moderately excited for. And yeah, I don't think he played poorly at all. I don't want to go out there and say he played a good game because how can you say that in a situation where the offense essentially put up 6 points? They got the Javonte Williams touchdown that was set up by Bradley Chubb's interception return. But for all intents and purposes, they put up 6 points plus a missed field goal by McManus. One of those field goals was 55 yards. So they really, they didn't march the ball up and down the field, but people want to give Drew Lock a medal for not turning the ball over. That's what Teddy Bridgewater does half the time, and that's not getting the job done. That's not enough in the modern NFL. No. It's a different story when your run game produces 6 yards on 8 carries or whatever it was. There's more than that. But just not turning the ball over isn't enough. And I know that he kind of got screwed on a couple of drops in a play where Cortland Sutton should have made the catch. So I don't want to go out there and say he played poorly because he didn't, but I'm not going to, commend him for an incredible game or say this is enough to keep Drew Lock in the building next year, because I don't think it was.
I think my takeaway was if Teddy were quarterback last week against the Raiders, I don't think that game's any different.
Yeah, I agree. No, it looked like he had been taking notes from Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah. Just go out there, Drew, and sling the shit out of the football. The run game not working screws everything. It screws everything up. And the Broncos should be playing football like the Philadelphia Eagles right now. in my opinion. That's their blueprint, their format. And they couldn't do it against the Raiders. The Chargers' run defense, I mean, the Raiders' run defense wasn't good heading into that game, but the Chargers' run defense, bad. So the Broncos, they might go out and beat the Chargers and hurt themselves in terms of where their draft position is going to be. But I think back to when the Broncos signed Teddy Bridgewater, we are exactly where we thought we'd be at this point in the season. And that sucks, which they've won a couple too many games to be in a position to, for sure, draft whoever they want at quarterback, if that's the route they want to go. And they're middling. They're middling again. We're becoming broken records talking about it.
They've forced us into, sounding like broken records. It's not our fault. It's their fault because
it is their fault.
The team itself is a broken record.
Yeah.
So how could we come out with anything new or interesting to say?
No. I can't remember if it was Albright or Andrew Mason tweeted that last week against the Raiders, the Broncos only had 2 drives that netted more than 25 yards.
Yeah.
And the last time that happened was when Kendall Hinton was the starting quarterback for the Broncos. So that's how pathetic it was.
How can we pat Drew Lock on the back for that?
Yeah.
You didn't turn the ball over. Great. I would trade a couple turnovers for a
couple touchdowns,
a couple good drives. Yeah.
Yeah, no shit.
It's just, people, the whole common refrain on Drew Lock is that, well, he's more exciting. Not really. I guess he's exciting in games where, he throws 4 touchdowns, and I guess it's exciting to see him throw 4 interceptions against the Raiders too. But to do neither is, what's the point of that? That's just bad television.
Yeah. It's kind of like, I think people look at him like he has the potential to be Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert without really any of the evidence, right? He's had maybe 1 or 2 games where you could compare him to those guys. And that was more the result of playing a shitty defense than anything. Texans game and Panthers game comes to mind in those 2 situations, but he's not those guys because those guys came in and Herbert was not the projected starter. He was thrown into the role. He had a coach that did not want to start him, but he played so well that they had no other choice. And Herbert's not perfect, obviously, but Joe Burrow, he came out and he has been exactly what you would want from a first overall draft pick at the quarterback position the entire time. And this last week it sticks out, obviously, because he threw for 525 yards and 4 touchdowns against decimated Ravens defense. But Locke hasn't shown anything to the level that those guys have shown. So and we've known that. But at this point, with 2 games left, I don't want to see Teddy back on the field because I don't think
there's no point.
There's no point. And I think if the Broncos coaches throw him out there, they're assholes because we know how serious brain injuries are. And there's no way, even if he clears from team doctors, that his brain is ready to go. And if you have any actual respect for Teddy Bridgewater as a human and a coach, you keep him off the field for the remainder of this season.
Yeah, you just you take his helmet away, make him inactive.
Yeah. And maybe you could argue,
to do.
If the Broncos had won last week and they actually had a chance to get to the postseason.
But if they won, then they would have won because of Drew Lock.
Yeah. So, anyway, that's all there's no real news right now for the Broncos.
No.
But we'll have a little bit of a preview for the game as usual on Saturday.
Did it make you kind of sad this last week knowing, that we're basically out of the playoffs, virtually eliminated, being let's just fast forward to the offseason. It's kind of a sad feeling because that in late May, you'd do anything for a football game.
Yeah, I think about that.
But then again, we do have the USFL.
We got the USFL coming. I just finished that video today. It's going to upload on That's Good Sports after later this afternoon. Earlier this afternoon, depending when I get this podcast up. But yeah, I've been thinking about that because by this point in the season, I'm burnt out of recapping Broncos games. If there's excitement for playoffs, I'd be excited about recapping them, but I didn't even recap it this week. I just made a video about why Governor Polis should ban Pat Shurmur from the state. I'm tired of doing a recap of every single NFL game.
Has he put out a statement, by the way? Has he put out a statement yet?
No statement from the governor or from Pat Shurmur. So not looking good.
I did see one from faux Pat Shurmur.
Yeah,
which I assume is his burner account. I'd really be hiding in plain sight to just make your burner account fake Pat Shurmur.
That would be funny. I like that
idea.
I love faux Pat Shurmur. I just tell him to shut up all the time on Twitter. It's fun.
I kind of hurt his feelings every time I say he should go to prison.
Yeah. No, but it's a good follow because he engages.
Yeah.
So check it out if you haven't already. Broncos New Year's resolutions, they're pretty simple for me, Will. Starting with fire your offensive coordinator, fire your special teams coach, fire your wide receivers coach, and do a serious inventory on Vic Fangio.
Okay. I like that. Because that's where I'm kind of right there on Fangio too. I go back and forth. And now that they're, I don't know, maybe it says something that they didn't fire him this week because now is the official interview window. And now the Jags are getting a head start on all these coaches. They can only have one though.
This is the best part. Because the Bears could have fired Matt Nagy early. They didn't. So the Texans are going to stick with David Culley, maybe, I guess. I'm not saying he's doing a bad job, but you thought maybe that coaching position would open up. The Seahawks, if they were going to move on from Pete Carroll, you could maybe argue they should do that now. But the whole 2-week hiring window, it's only the Jags. And the Jags kept Trent Baalke, which a lot of coaches do not want to coach for, on top of an organization coaches do not want to coach for. So they have basically no leverage. And this week was interesting for the Broncos' next head coach, if they decide to go that way, because I heard, I think it was on the NFL Network, Nathaniel Hackett's name came up, the Packers offensive coordinator. I think that was Monday. And it wasn't even related to the Broncos. It was just like, this might be a hot name in the coaching cycle, Nathaniel Hackett. And I was like, oh shit, I forgot the Packers have an offensive coordinator because all we hear about is Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur. The next day is when Nathaniel Hackett's name gets linked to the Broncos by Peter King, saying the Broncos, they could give up draft picks, Jerry Jeudy, for Aaron Rodgers, hire Nathaniel Hackett, which Rodgers would want to come to Denver as their head coach, and then sign Davante Adams this offseason to bring in with Aaron Rodgers, which, yes, if I had to give up Jerry Jeudy for Davante Adams, I'm going to do it. But I just thought if the Broncos are actually in on Aaron Rodgers, then bringing in the OC from Green Bay that Rodgers has a relationship with already, that is your smartest play. And I don't even know if Hackett's the right guy to be a head coach, but if that's what it took to get Rodgers, that's what you do. But Hackett was one of the names that came up in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And so was Dan Quinn, but Dan Quinn turned that shit down right away.
Yeah, which is apparently because of Baalke. Here's kind of a feather in Nathaniel Hackett's cap, just looking at his Wikipedia page. I didn't remember this. So he's been the offensive coordinator in Green Bay from 2019 until now. Before then, do you know where he was?
No.
He was in Jacksonville. He was the offensive coordinator.
Oh,
when
yes.
Blake Bortles came within, a Miles Jack play of going to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
He coordinated that offense to elite heights.
Yeah, I did read that. And the Dan Quinn to Jacksonville before he turned it down, it was like because Darrell Bevell is the interim head coach. And before that, they had Gus Bradley, right? So it'd been like all of the former Seahawks, like defensive coordinators would have basically had a shot to be head coach in Jacksonville, which is just another like weird, funny sort of angle there. But yeah, I mean, if Nathaniel Hackett can coach up Blake Bortles, Aaron Rodgers likes him, if that's what it actually took. I mean, is Peter King just floating that shit out there because you need something to talk about, or
Probably.
are they
Probably.
okay?
I mean, you can say this and say like, yeah, this would be an ideal scenario for Aaron Rodgers. That obviously it doesn't mean it's going to happen, and
no,
it doesn't mean it's the most likely scenario. It's just presenting a scenario.
It's a scenario. Aaron Rodgers is the ultimate wild card.
He is. Like, what? How can you ever plan on having a beat on what Aaron Rodgers wants or what he is planning on doing? I don't think Aaron Rodgers knows what he wants to do 6 months in advance.
No. I mean, how many people really know what they want to do 6 months in advance?
No, it's like that's why it's so crazy, to say that. I didn't believe it when people were going to say, okay, Green Bay will facilitate a trade at the end of this season. Back when they said that when Rodgers first came back to Green Bay in training camp, so much is going to change over the course of a season. They could win the Super Bowl and Aaron Rodgers could say, why would I ever want to leave this place? Or anything could happen, really. And so why could we ever bank on that? I don't know. It's never been planned. It's never been, the most likely situation, but it's so enticing that you have to treat it as plan A, B, and C, really. Yeah. With Russell Wilson coming in at D.
Ooh.
Anyway, Nathaniel Hackett. He looks sure. Why not? He went to UC Davis.
Give it to him.
Bills. He's pretty good with Kyle Orton over in Buffalo for a season. Good for him.
Do it. Well, if you want to think about predicting the future, I don't know, maybe check out DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. The NFL season is winding down. The playoffs will be here before you know it, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, has some offers that are getting even more amazing. New customers can bet just $5 on any NFL team to win their game, and if they do, you win $200 in free bets. DraftKings Sportsbook customers can also get NFL action with same-game parlays. Combine multiple bets from the same game for a bigger payout. The more legs you add, the more money you can win. Maybe the Broncos offense will rush for more than 20 yards this week. Who knows? I'm sure that's a prop bet you can check out. DraftKings safe, secure, reliable, unlike the Broncos offense. Best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code DNVR. Bet just $5 on any NFL team and win $200 in free bets if they're victorious. That's promo code DNVR this week at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. It must be 21 or older. Colorado only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. All right, Will. We've got games to pick.
Let's do it.
Let's freaking do it. All right, let's take a look here. Where are we ranked now? We got Travis Moody still atop there, although his lead is going down a bit, just 100 points for Travis. Evan Howell sneaking up behind him, as is Dalton Macy. And whoa, look at Billy Bob Joe, 140 points this week. That's pretty impressive, Billy Bob.
Good job, Bill.
Kevin hanging in there. Hope to see Kevin in the Zoom. And then where the hell are we? Let's scroll down. Oh, we're not even on the front page. Second page, boys.
Like we're 33rd right there.
Oh, we got that. That's good, Thomas. So we got 100 points last week. All right. Not good enough. Let's make the picks for this week.
We'll do
Finally,
better.
no more Thursday night football, Will.
Oh, I'm kind of upset. It's a nice little oasis in the middle of the week. We do have 2 college football games on Friday, though.
Ooh, interesting.
Of some importance.
Nevada?
If you're into that thing.
Is Nevada?
Oh, no. No, they played Monday morning at 8 o'clock. That was when they played. And they had no one left on their team. No, I'm talking about Cincinnati, Alabama, and Georgia, Michigan.
Oh.
College football playoff. Yeah.
So that's New Year's Eve.
That is New Year's Eve, Friday.
Cool. And then the big bowl games played, what, a week later between them?
Yeah, it should be the Monday after
Okay.
week 18 wraps up. It used to be – I used to love it because it came after all the wild card games were over, because that's like when you really need a Monday game after like the hangover of 6 football games in 2 days, like 6 playoff games. And now they've taken that away from us with the 18-game schedule, which is 18-week schedule. It's really really too bad.
After everything
Falcons,
else.
Bills.
Yeah, got the Bills. So do 98% of the people. Bills need to win this game now that they've regained first place in the AFC East. I don't think it's a slam dunk, but
no, I don't think it's a slam dunk either. You think Arthur Smith's actually done like a pretty solid job?
Yeah, I would say he's been fine. First year head coach. They're 7-8. I
don't feel like they have a lot of
lost
talent.
Julio Jones in the offseason. Calvin Ridley is taking time away from football. So their receiver, their only receiver, their top flight guy is Kyle Pitts that they're relying on at tight end. Who tight ends, as we know, they need a year to develop. They resurrected Cordarrelle Patterson out of nowhere.
True.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't think you usually fix a defense in a year, and that was the Falcons' real issue. And then on top of that, they lose a bunch of key offensive guys. So, yeah, I think it's fine. We'll see what he does with another offseason and draft, and they might have something there. But I think Buffalo wins.
Yeah, I'm still taking the Bills. Oh, we got a real dandy matchup here. Give me the – no, I'm not picking either Jake Fromm. Jake Fromm, who, by the way, a lot of people want to say Ian Book was he was the worst quarterback last week. No, Jake Fromm was the worst quarterback last week, and it wasn't even close. At least Ian Book was throwing touchdowns to one team. No, I'm not ever picking the Mike Glennon, Jake Fromm cocktail to win a game. They're the hardest watch in the NFL right now.
Giants, Bears. That's the game. 91% of the people taking the Bears. Is Nick Foles starting for the Bears?
I can't even keep I don't see why not. I mean,
I don't care. I take the Bears as well. Now, this is probably, in my opinion, maybe the most interesting game of the week.
Justin Fields may return.
Ooh, Fields may be back.
Well.
Okay.
Oh, well.
Chiefs.
I'm not changing my pick.
No. Bears all the way. Chiefs, Bengals. Only 24% of the people taking the Bengals at home. This is kind of a key game for both teams because the Chiefs. I believe if they win, they can clinch their first round bye. Isn't that right?
I'd have to see it. I think it depends on what. I think the Titans would have to lose as well.
Okay.
Because the Titans beat the Chiefs, and they can both get 12 wins or whatever.
Gotcha.
So they need a Titans loss, which is
need
possible.
a Titans loss, and they need to win. The Bengals coming off their best game of the season, but they're not going to get a depleted Chiefs team like they did a depleted Ravens secondary and,
No.
whatever. But also the Bengals got cursed in my power rankings. Only 24% of the people think. See, I think the Bengals can hang with the Chiefs in terms of scoring points, but I need to see Cincinnati beat like a good team and go toe-to-toe with them, because the Broncos really slowed them down. They scored the 15 points. Before that, they lost to, the Chargers, and I don't know.
I mean, all their great wins have come inside the division. Not saying that's like not worth anything, because it's actually worth quite a bit. But you'd like to see them show up against another AFC superpower, because I don't think you're going to get, if you want to win a playoff game, you're probably not going to be matched up with the Ravens, Steelers, or Browns going forward. Like you want to notch a win against a team like Kansas City, Buffalo, any of those guys, the Titans, any of the big three there.
The big three. So what are we going to take, the Chiefs?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Chiefs.
All right. Dolphins, Titans. This is interesting. 79% of the people taking the Titans. I've been hyping up the Dolphins, but I also admit their win streak has come against a lot of bad teams. Just one impressive win, really, against the Ravens. But
I'd say winning 7 games in a row against anybody is pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, that's what I'm saying. I've been hyping him up, but I realize maybe against a good team, that win streak doesn't last, and they're playing a weird good team in the Titans. They
are the weirdest good team, I think. They're when you watch them, they're like, this is not a good team. This is probably a 5-11 team if I were to take a guess, just based on the eye test. And you look and they're 10-5.
Yeah.
They're really perplexing, but no, they figured something out against the 49ers, which is just rely on A.J. Brown. Probably what they should have been doing.
He was hurt. He was on the IR for 3 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
he was out. They got Julio Jones back, who immediately pulled his hamstring again. He's back in there. But yeah, A.J. Brown was he made Ryan Tannehill look a billion times better and more competent. They should get Derrick Henry back week 18. The Dolphins, their offensive line's bad. They don't run the ball well. Tua's safe. He keeps them in games. Their defense is good. But I'm going to take Tennessee. I think Tennessee wins this.
Okay.
And I think that final AFC wildcard spot changes this week, because the Dolphins own it right now at 8-7. Speaking of the Raiders, if they win this week, that is huge for them in terms of their playoff seeding. They're playing a good Colts team. Carson Wentz was on COVID. Now he's got a chance to play Sunday because of the 5-day shift from 10 to 5 days for COVID guys.
Right.
And yeah, I think Indy's going to win this game. 82% of the people agree with me. Will, you got any reason to pick the Raiders here?
Yeah, I mean, if Wentz wasn't playing, I would probably take the Raiders, because I haven't seen anything out of Sam Ehlinger. But if it's 5 days, then I would assume that Wentz is going to make it back on the field. Who at the CDC did the Colts have to bribe for that gift? That is Christmas present come late.
Yeah. Yeah, they're getting a little lucky there. I think the Colts will do what the Broncos did not do, and that's just run the ball at the Raiders and be successful with it. The Colts too should get some of their offensive line back, and that should be huge.
Yeah, I mean, anybody they get back is an improvement on the offensive line from last week. I mean, how do you watch that game and not come away, with the idea that Jonathan Taylor is the epitome of valuable?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe because he didn't have any big runs in that, like crazy big runs. Just ate away at him slowly. Ate away at the soul. All right. Jags,
I don't know.
Patriots.
Can't argue with Aaron Rodgers. Let's.
No, it's a two-way race now. Rodgers, Taylor.
So we got the best rookie quarterback, not named Davis Mills. Best rookie not named Davis Mills. And then we have Trevor Lawrence, who has not thrown a touchdown in
4 straight games.
4 straight games. I don't think he threw one for 4 straight games before then either. Does he get one against the Patriots?
Ooh, I doubt it.
I'm going to say no. I think he'll throw a touchdown to the Patriots.
Fair enough. Dude, he's only had 1 game this season where he's thrown for more than 1 touchdown, and that was week 1 at the Texans. He threw 3 TDs and 3 picks.
He threw half of his touchdowns in the first 5 quarters of his career because he threw it on the opening drive week 2 against Denver.
Yeah, and he only had 1 in that game. 1 the next week against the Cardinals, 0 against the Bengals, 1 against the Titans, 1 against the Dolphins, 1 against the Seahawks, 0, 0, 0. So right now, since November 7th, Trevor Lawrence has thrown 1 touchdown pass. That's
rough.
4. That's 8 games, 1 touchdown pass. To his credit, he's only thrown 5 picks in that time, and 4 of those picks came in 1 game against the Titans.
I mean, obviously you have to give Trevor Lawrence like an opportunity with a new regime, but God, like it is not being talked quite enough about how disappointing this season's been. Yeah. I mean, who are the 2 guys like coming into the draft were really Fields and Lawrence, and neither of them Fields has been better than Lawrence, not by a lot. And then it's just a weird scenario too, and we'll get to it when the 49ers play, but Trey Lance has, made just a couple appearances for the 49ers after moving up to 3rd overall for him. Was
Trevor Lawrence's best season in college as a rookie or as his freshman year or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, that was the year he won the national championship. I don't know if it was statistically his best season, but definitely his most successful. I think if you had just paused right after, or if you had put him in the draft after his true freshman year, yeah, he would have gone number 1 overall. But then again, like so would have Josh Rosen. He looked like a number 1 overall pick after 2015.
Yes, his sophomore year statistically was better. And then a little bit of a regression his junior year. But all of them good. I think he can be saved. I think that's just how bad shit is in Jacksonville. But we're going to take the Patriots in that one. And speaking of, you've got the number 2 pick, Zach Wilson, going against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 98% of the people taking Tampa. Tom Brady got plenty of experience against the Jets. I think this game will be a little tougher than people might think for Tampa. But, I believe the Bucs win.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to argue with you. Although I do think Zach Wilson's putting something together.
Yeah, I mean, he had a 52-yard touchdown run.
Yeah, he's got he's got a little bit of a penchant for a big play every now and then.
Yeah,
It's probably the best play he's made since he beat the Titans with that incredible throw. Can't remember who it was to, but I think Zach Wilson's kind of secured his job for next year.
Honestly, it's just the longer we go, the nicer it looks that the Broncos did not draft a quarterback in last draft. And people are like, this is the best quarterback draft since the Josh Allen quarterback draft, which is the draft that
we know for sure that this draft is the worst draft since 2013, apparently.
Yeah.
How do you guys stop pretending to know? Just stop pretending.
You don't know.
No one knows anything. I don't know anything.
Yeah, it's just a guess. Football team, Eagles. 75% taking the Eagles. Washington coming off a horrific loss to the Cowboys.
Horrible.
I don't think it'll be as bad, but I am going to take the Eagles. I like what Philly's doing. I like Jalen Hurts. I'm not saying he's the greatest quarterback ever, but I think he's the right fit for that offense, and they've figured out the formula to win with him. And it's the same formula the Ravens use with Lamar Jackson. Just commit to the run. Let your QB run, let your running backs run, and take your shots when you need to. And
the Eagles would be a really tricky team, I think, to match up with in the playoffs.
Yeah.
If your run defense isn't stout, like that's you're immediately on upset alert.
Yeah, you're probably going to lose.
You're fucked. But then again, like if if you can shut down the run, then you could beat the Eagles 35-10 in the wild card round. So there's a lot of variance there. They're going to be, they're the definition of a wild card, I think, heading into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Fun to watch too. They're a fun team.
I like watching them right now. So we'll take the Eagles over Washington. Then you got Ravens, Rams. Is Lamar Jackson back yet? What the fuck? Okay, he returned to practice, but he is limping considerably.
What about Tyler Huntley? Is he back?
Let me look. Can the Ravens start their second stringer this week? Okay, yeah, well, he was just on the COVID list, so he should be able to get off of that now. Either way, I think we take the Rams here. I just can't rely on Baltimore with their injuries, or their whatevers.
Yeah, I mean they're just as injured on the defensive side of the ball as well, which I think Joe Burrow pointed out quite astutely last week.
Mm-hmm.
Chargers.
Take the Chargers to beat the Broncos. Only 9% think Denver can win.
Let's hope the Chargers beat us.
This is what I expect. I expect Brandon Staley to convert so many fourth downs in this game that I have to call him the best coach I've ever seen at the conclusion.
That's the optimal scenario in my mind.
Who would Brandon McManus rather play for? Brandon Staley, who would die not kicking field goals, or Vic Fangio, who will give McManus 10 seconds to kick a 55-yarder?
Yeah, it's a true Sophie's choice. I mean, at least you get to earn your paycheck with Vic Fangio.
Yeah.
It's a stressful work environment, though.
I would rather kick for the Chargers. I would want to be a kicker for the Chargers and know there's going to be a lot of games where I don't even have to try to kick a field goal.
Just you could show up hungover and be like, okay, I'm going to, knock in a couple 37-yarders and then call it a day.
I would basically, at practice, I would kick 30, however many, whatever's like a normal number. I would kick 30 PATs and then try like 5 field goals and be like, good. As long as you're making all your PATs for the Chargers, you might be all right.
Yeah, and even then, they'll probably go for 2 like half the time.
Yeah, that's true. Texans, Niners. San Francisco, maybe they played Trey Lance this week, maybe not. Jimmy G
sounds like it, right?
Well, Jimmy G wants to play, but he's got a thumb ligament and bone chip or some shit. Although he played through it during the game, didn't look like it was really affecting him, but I think it's going to be up to Kyle Shanahan.
I don't understand it because you traded up so much to get to number 3 to take Trey Lance. And what's the most, valuable contract in sports? It's the rookie quarterback contract.
Right.
And you're wasting, you get 5 years, you get 4, really cheap years, then you get a 5th-year option. And you're wasting one of those years. So you're slowing down his development unless he really hits the ground running in year 2. Like, I think this is like a pretty monumental failure by the 49ers. It's not like Jimmy Garoppolo's lighting it up to the point where, you have to keep him on the field. He's doing enough, but the 49ers are an 8-7 team. I wouldn't think you have to keep Trey Lance on the bench, to preserve your shot and the shot to go to the playoffs. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think a little bit in that I think Jimmy G's value is higher than it was before the season. So maybe, and he's got another year on his contract, so you got to trade him. So maybe you've increased his value a little bit, and maybe you get a little bit back that you had to give up to get Trey Lance. That's my only thought. Maybe you're just like, oh shit, Trey Lance is a lot worse than we thought, and we do not want to start him right now.
Yeah, before the Titans game, someone should have purposely injured Jimmy Garoppolo, and then just let him sit out the rest of the season. Then his trade value would have been astronomical compared to what it is.
Would have been huge.
Those 2 picks against Tennessee.
Yeah. All right, we got Cardinals, Cowboys, 69% taking Dallas. I'm going to take Dallas. I think they're hot. I think their defense is really good.
Yeah, I mean, the Cardinals back their way into the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's kind of awkward when you're in a losing streak and you still have to put on the hat and the shirt. Well, I guess you don't get one if you're a wild card, so kind of a moot point. But it just reminds me of the Broncos when they went 8-5, lost 3 games in a row, and clinched the division.
Yeah,
week 17 with a loss.
100%. Okay, so you agree with Dallas there?
I'm with you.
Okay. Interesting
Dallas
game in
all the
terms
way.
of, I don't know who wins this one. Panthers, Saints. Panthers are going to start Sam Darnold. Saints should get Taysom Hill back, I think, right?
Let's find out.
He was just on COVID, right?
They will not say. Let's assume it's Taysom Hill.
Yeah. Fuck it. I'll take the Saints. Their defense. Their defense is good. Lions, Seahawks. 89% say Seattle. Wow. Yeah, I'll take Seattle. I don't care. All right. Vikings, Packers. Just 7% taking Minnesota. Minnesota will have Dalvin Cook back, though, because of the COVID rule shifting. Packers need to win. They're trying to get that first round bye in the NFC, and I think it's important for them because they've got key injuries.
Yep.
Green Bay, you going to take them? You going to stop me?
No, I'm riding with Green Bay.
And then Monday Night Football, a game we all thought might be a good game at the beginning of the season. No. 2 disappointing teams this year. The Steelers I saw coming. The Steelers, I was never sold on Ben Roethlisberger for this season, and that's proved correct. The Browns are a big disappointment. Baker Mayfield coming off that 4-pick game against the Packers. But 65% still say the Browns better than the Steelers.
I feel like these 2 teams are going to be competing for quarterbacks in the offseason.
Oh, they might be.
Like they're 2 fairly attractive destinations, I think.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a free agent or a guy who's on the trade market or even a rookie.
Yeah.
I think the Steelers are more likely to draft someone And I don't know, like it feels like Tyler Huntley would be a good addition to either of these teams. And I wrote that in the quarterback video that we're gonna have coming out soon. The problem is Baltimore, I don't think would trade a young, promising quarterback within the division.
No,
unless they really don't think very much of Tyler Huntley.
Yeah, Harbaugh would never do that.
No.
Who are you gonna take? Who do you think?
This is really the definition of a coin flip here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll take the Steelers. I think coming off of a loss is a great time to take the Steelers, almost always.
Cool. Well, we did it. We picked all the games with deadly accuracy. Next week will probably be a little faster, a little easier to pick. A lot of teams will be eliminated. Maybe. We'll have less to play for. I don't know. But we appreciate you listening. And we'll have a Broncos-Chargers preview up later this week. And that's that.
Oh, God. Yeah, we do.
Forgot about that, huh, Will?
Oh, man. I hope everyone else forgets about it, too.
No, watch it. Okay, good night.
And John Elway played his entire career without an ACL.
And good